Hey, I see you, TA.
Exactly. I want to move on to USA Basketball. The roster taking shape, led by Kevin Durant. It will also include, this is Team USA, Dame Lillard, Draymond Green, Brad Beal, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum. James Harden did withdraw because of his hamstring injury. He will not be able to make it. Richard, is this a gold medal roster in your eyes?
Yes, because they have the shooting. The one time we didn't win the Olympics,
Were you
you're
there?
welcome.
Were you there?
Yes,
I can't remember.
I was a participant to make sure that the next 20 years were successful. We didn't have enough shooting. The starting lineup
you took one for the team?
I took one for the team. Thanks for not showing up, Vince. Remember when you backed out, Vince?
That's what we're calling it.
When you backed out, Vince? Why'd you back out, Vince?
Come on, man, cut it out.
Yeah. Oh, now he wants to cut it out. Okay, everybody wants to cut it
Vince
out.
has plenty of Olympic highlights
He was supposed to be on 04. He backed out. Him and Kobe and J. Kidd and Bibby and Ray Allen.
They thought they could depend on you.
That was dumb. I was wrong.
Rachel, don't let RJ blame Vince for his lack of productivity.
No.
Okay, you just didn't produce.
It took productivity is not a 9-syllable word.
Yeah, whatever. It
take
is
you
for
10
me.
seconds to get out.
I mean, whatever.
Vince, the starting lineup, if we want to look at that list again, KD obviously going to be on it, right? So who else would you see filling out the rest of that starting five? And please say Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, KD, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I like Draymond as my 5-man, and then get me Jason Tatum. And if you're feeling kind of froggy, you can also use Bradley Beal. But I'll say Jason Tatum at the 3.
All right.
Well, that's wrong, but...
Why, you want to swap in the other St. Louis guy for the other St. Louis guy?
No, it's Damian Lillard, it's Devin Booker, it's Kevin Durant, it's Jason Tatum, it's Bam Adebayo.
Oh, you want Bam?
Yeah, you could now because Bam can stretch the floor, but he also can defend multiple positions. I love Draymond Green, but we saw last Olympics or World Championship, Draymond wasn't that much a part of the rotation because you still need to have some scoring threats. It's not just a straight facilitator. Bam can score and facilitate.
Well, you could tell the two guys that didn't play defense in the league because you got to have some type of defensive identity. And so if you start Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, you have enough offensive firepower in those 3 guys. So you need to have Bam at the 5, and you need to start Draymond at the 4. Because one thing Draymond is good is initiating the offense. And so at the end of the day, he can anchor that defense. He can anchor that defense along with Bam Adebayo, and I think that's a perfect fit. Yeah, that's how I've been calling his name.
This goes back. At least we know what it's...
Yeah, Rachel, tell him it's never going to change. Okay, I am who I am, Richard.
I will say this, Kendrick. It's the Olympics. They're probably not going to need much defense for the early, first round robin situation. But when they get up there,
don't do that.
I am just going off of. I'm going with the facts off of past experience. And then,
somebody got to guard that man.
Well, that is true. I will just say that as it gets tighter, look at that and the hair and everything, and of course we remember this one.
That's a charge. Yeah.
I'm just saying that as you go up through the quarterfinals and semis and finals, obviously that's where the defense comes in.
Yeah, all three of those guys are supposed to be on the Olympic team. I was,
There we go. Vince, I will leave that with you, that photo of you over poor Frederick. That
I Amazoned you some AirPods, Vince. Give me a riding any day.
Hey, they was calling you radio before.
Vince, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you very soon. I know. We'll see you soon, Vince.
Thank you, man. I love those double hearing aids you have.
Coming
Not
up,
that old, Vince.
We're going to get to the Western Conference Finals. CP3 coming back for Game 3. At some point, I just got to cut you off. How can the Clippers stage another comeback from that 2-0 deficit? And also coming up,
this league, he's been closing out. Being in it ain't it if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, with all due respect.
All right, wait. Producer Steve, can you play that video, though, for me before I get to the next thing? Because this was one of my favorite moments, the pushing back and forth.
See, that's on my...
That is so RJ.
That is so RJ. Richard Jefferson. Thank you, Vince. Thank you.
Because it's all fun, man. You have fun out there.
Brooke was like, tag, you're it.
That was unbelievable.
What's going on?
I love it's the little moments that make me happy.
That was the closest anybody had been to Trey in weeks.
Oh, please. No. Let's talk about the Bucks side of things. It is the first time the entire postseason that they have dropped at a home game, right? So second straight series. They've lost game 1, though, because they, of course, started on the road last series. Perk, You did pick Milwaukee before this series. Do you still trust the Bucks?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Bucks. One thing about it, look, they will adjust. They will play better. At the end of the day, this is not the Bucks team that we saw against the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to come out back and respond. And look, one thing about it, we could talk about Trae Young, and rightfully so, but they still don't have an answer for Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis got downhill whenever he wanted. He got to the paint. And Chris Middleton is not going to shoot that poorly. Go ahead, RJ. You point your finger. Go ahead. Do what you got to say.
I wouldn't point.
No, go ahead. Say what you got to say.
Well, listen, I apologize. I'll interpret for Perk for anybody that doesn't understand, like Southern Texas accents. What he's saying.
He had Church's Chicken retweeting him today.
That's not a positive thing here. Have you said, look,
he speaks to people. Perk speaks to the people.
No,
that Church's Chicken is speaking to other parts of Perk, but we'll talk about that later.
A lot of Perk to love.
Look. My thing about this is that the Bucks are the better team. They are the superior team. But part of the frustration in last year, the year before, is that the Bucks weren't playing up to their ability. So do I believe that the Bucks will ultimately win this series? If they do what they're supposed to, but that's not something that should be overly applauded. You're going against a team with no all-star, a 22-year-old player that is dominating the league. And you got all of this. When I say what does that mean? That means you have 2 all-stars, you have 2 MVPs, you have the former defensive player of the year. This is a team that you should dominate. I'm sorry, that's what they should do, and they've never done that in the postseason. That's why no one ever truly believes on them. So even if they win this series and they beat Trae Young, is that something that we should sit there and be overly excited about?
What you mean?
As of right now, RJ, though, you got to think about this real quick. As of right now, you got to think about this. Bucks are hung over, if you would. Hungover from their win. So like you said, they walked in like, okay, now we just beat Brooklyn. Now we have the Hawks.
They beat a third of Brooklyn.
Look,
they beat a third of Brooklyn. So you shouldn't be overly excited if you barely beat a broken down Brooklyn team. You should keep that edge. That's what I'm trying to express.
It's like a third and a half a third.
I'm saying that's what they beat a third of Brooklyn. Okay,
well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one thing. 2 things. One, they swept the Miami Heat that outed them last year, right? Okay, then on top of that, it's no other team in the Western Conference, in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, that would have been able to withstand or beat the Brooklyn Nets the way that Kevin Durant was playing, except for the Milwaukee Bucks. And RJ, you and Vince are overreacting to one game, and y'all know, and you should know, especially you, from being a former champion, from being part of one of the greatest championships of all time, coming back from 3-1, that you never. It's a long series. So what? They came out.
Exactly.
They came out casual. They came out. They was cool. They was relaxed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I have a high standard for teams that I believe are going to potentially win a championship. Because once they're up in the rafters as champions, then there's a standard that has been set or that you ultimately accomplish. And they've been cheating the basketball gods more times.
And you have to give props to a team who does not have this experience. The Milwaukee Bucks have this experience. They went out there and played. No, they played like they were the team that didn't have the experience, and the Hawks looked like they had more experience. And they did what they're supposed to do. Well, you got to give them their credit.
Let me correct you, since you have a degree from North Carolina, and let me correct Mr. Arizona himself.
No degree. I don't think there's a degree there.
Listen, you don't have a degree, but listen, they came out with a sense of entitlement. That's what the Milwaukee Bucks did. They came out with a sense of entitlement.
But what have they ever accomplished to do that?
And the Hawks play like they were not afraid.
We're done. I'm done.
We're taking a quick timeout. I, by the way, have to apologize to the Hawks franchise. I said they haven't been in the finals since the 50s. I was wrong. It was 1961.
Don't apologize.
I was off by like a year and a half. By the way, they were in St. Louis when they won their last title, 1958. It's been a while. It's been 50 years for the Bucks. The Suns and the Clippers, of course, never got into the finals. This is very exciting. I'm all for the new blood.
Sometimes we make mistakes on our stats.
Coming up, in honor of Trae Young's backboard alley-oop to John Collins last night, we will count down the best backboard alley-oops.